where we just relay some facts,
whether they're new or antique.
So just sit back and relax.
It's time for What's Up This Week.
Hi, I'm Megan from Mamie George Branch Library. This week marks the anniversary of when the Third March from Selma to Montgomery ended on March 25th, 1965. The demonstration was for Black voting rights in Alabama. It was the third in a series of marches held in the state throughout that harrowing month. The marches were partly inspired by the death of Jimmy Lee Jackson, an activist who was killed during a peaceful protest in February that same year. The first event happened on March 7th with around 600 people. Unfortunately, the group only made it 6 blocks to the Edmund Pettus Bridge when they were attacked by police with clubs, whips, and tear gas. Many were injured during the mayhem. The date became known as Bloody Sunday. March 9th saw the second march led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., supported by about 1,500 citizens. A prayer service was conducted at the bridge. By the time the last march was held toward the end of the month, tensions were incredibly high. Nevertheless, the gallant demonstrators kept on. On March 21st, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King were joined by nearly 3,200 people in Selma, Alabama, to rally once more with protection by federal troops. They all strode along the 54-mile highway that goes from Selma to Montgomery. 4 days after it began, the final event culminated with a profound speech from Dr. King called "How Long, Not Long." The powerful orator delivered his words on the steps of the state capitol in Montgomery, Alabama, to a crowd of 25,000 people. Later that same year, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson. The act created protections to guarantee Black Americans the right to vote. While these historical marches were deeply effective, they were also emblematic. Despite concerns and danger, it was resilience and optimism that took precedence and fueled a great objective. You can learn more about the Selma March and the Civil Rights Movement by checking out any of these books. So, Ellie, what do you have for this week's episode?
Hi everyone. This week we're celebrating the Queen of Soul and giving her the RESPECT she deserves. Singer, songwriter, actress, pianist, and civil rights activist Aretha Franklin was born on March 25, 1942 in Memphis, Tennessee. Early in her life, her family moved to Detroit, Michigan. The daughter of a minister, Aretha started singing gospel at a very young age, and at age 18, she began her secular music career. It didn't take long for her to become known as the Queen of Soul, after recording multiple hit songs in the 1960s. All said and done, she recorded 112 singles, 17 of which hit the top 10. She won 18 Grammys and is one of the best-selling music artists ever, having sold more than 75 million records. Aretha was a longtime supporter of civil rights and was also involved in the struggle for women's rights. She would often cover the payroll for civil rights groups and also performed at benefits and protests for both causes. Her songs became anthems for these movements. Aretha passed away in 2018 at the age of 76 from pancreatic cancer. Thousands of people attended her lying in repose at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History to pay their respects. If you want to learn more about Aretha Franklin's life, we've definitely got books that you can check out. Or if you simply want to enjoy listening to some of her music, we've also got all of her albums available either on CD or digitally via Hoopla. All right, Megan, what weird thing do you have for us this week?
Hi there! This week's weird thing is that March 22nd is National Goof Off Day. That's right, y'all, a day set aside for having a little fun instead of getting any work done. The goal of this day is simply to not work at all. Do anything you like, or do nothing at all. Just be sure you're not on the clock when you're goofing off. Fort Bend County Libraries does not endorse goofing off during work hours. There are many things you can do to goof off. Here are a few ideas for you. You can make a blanket fort. You can play games with your friends. You can write a song. You can dress up your cats. You can dress yourself up like a cat for the day. Or you can finally start binging The Wire like all your friends have been encouraging you to do. Or other shows, I guess, but seriously, everyone needs to watch The Wire. As long as you're not getting serious work done, you are honoring this holiday. If you need inspiration or help finding something fun to do, Fort Bend County Libraries may be able to help. We've got books on all sorts of fun activities, including some of the ones mentioned in this episode. We also own all 5 seasons of The Wire on DVD, along with many other bingeable shows. Happy Goof Off Day, everybody! Join us again next week for another episode of What's Up This Week.